Hi, readers. Welcome back to There's a Boy in the Girl's Bathroom by Sachar. The last we left off, Bradley changed his mind and decided to go see Carla on Saturday. But by the time he got to her office, Carla was already gone. In her place, he found a letter that she left for him and a copy of My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso. As we read the next three chapters, chapters 42, 43, and 44, pay attention to how Bradley's animal toys represent how he's feeling, and pay attention to how Bradley deals with Carla's leaving. Chapter 42, There's a Boy in the Girl's Bathroom by Sachar. Bradley tried writing a letter to Carla. His father had suggested it. He crumpled up a piece of paper and threw it in his wastepaper basket. He didn't know what to say to her. The words he wanted hadn't been invented yet. Ronnie hopped along singing doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. The other animals were taking another vote. We took another vote, the lion told Ronnie. We like you the best. I like all of you the best too, said Ronnie. Bartholomew walked up to her. I love you, Ronnie, he said. Will you marry me? Yes, said Ronnie. And I saved you from the quicksand too, said Bartholomew, so you didn't die. That's good, said Ronnie. I'm very glad to hear that. Let's pause here for a moment, readers. Let's think about this scene that Bradley went through with his animals. What does this scene tell you about the way Bradley is feeling? Chapter 43. Colleen, wearing a new red dress, anxiously waited for her guests to arrive. Except for Lori and Melinda, she hadn't told anybody that there would be boys at her party. The doorbell rang. Her heart jumped. She hoped it would be Jeff and also hoped it wouldn't be. She composed herself and opened the door. It was Judy and Betty. They each gave her a present. Ooh, what is it? Colleen asked as she took each gift, but of course they didn't tell her. Who else is coming? Asked Judy as the three girls sat and waited in the living room. Colleen counted on her fingers, naming her guests. Well, there's you two, and Lori and Melinda, Karen, Amy, and Dina. She paused, then said the last two names very quickly, and Jeff and Bradley. Bradley? Questioned Betty. Bradley Chalkers? Oh no! Judy looked like she was about to faint. You didn't say there were going to be boys at your party, said Betty. Didn't I? Colleen asked innocently. I thought I did. I don't think I'm allowed to go to a boy and girl party, said Judy. Okay, but you already gave me my present, said Colleen. They decided to stay. When the bell rang again, all three girls screamed, but it was only Amy and Dina. Amy and Dina were dressed exactly alike, right down to their shoes and socks. They were best friends, and their parents often took them shopping together. They always bought the same clothes. Then, before a party, or even just before school sometimes, they'd call each other up and decide what to wear. Today it was a blue dress with white and yellow flowery things. Colleen invited boys, Betty told them. Bradley Chalkers, said Judy. Amy and Dina looked at each other in horror. Colleen took their presents from them before they could change their minds. Both presents were wrapped in the same purple and green paper. Karen was the next to arrive. Colleen invited boys, everyone said to her as she stood in the doorway. Her mouth dropped open. Bradley Chalkers, said Betty. And the new kid, said Amy, Jeff Fishfood. Karen was very shy and quiet. If there were going to be boys at the party, she might not say one word all day. The doorbell rang. Everyone except Karen screamed. She held a pillow in front of her face. It was Lori and Melinda. Colleen invited boys, everyone greeted them. Jeff Fishnose and Bradley Chalkers, said Dina. So we already knew that, Lori said, as if it were no big deal to her. Oh, well, nobody else did, said Judy. The 8 girls waited. They talked and laughed about how much Colleen would like her presents. They asked her what there would be to eat and what games they would play. The one thing they didn't talk about was boys, though it was the only thing on each of their minds. When Colleen told Dina there would be a 3-legged race, the room turned very quiet. Each girl wondered if she would have to run it with a boy. Colleen planned to run the 3-legged race with Jeff. It didn't occur to her that if she was partners with Jeff, another girl would have to be partners with Bradley. It was starting to get late. A new worry slowly crept into each girl's head. What if the boys didn't show up? It suddenly seemed that the party wouldn't be any fun at all without boys. Where were they? Colleen's mother walked into the living room and counted heads. 8, she said aloud. Who's missing? Nobody answered. Oh, the boys, said Colleen's mother. Well, we can't wait too much longer. Colleen looked like she was about to cry. Where were they? Readers, let's pause here for a moment and think about how the way other people think about Bradley has changed. Take a moment to ask yourself, how has the way other people think about Bradley changed? Readers, do you think this matches the way Bradley thinks about himself? Let's read the next chapter. Chapter 44. The doorbell rang at Bradley's house. Bradley, wearing a cone-shaped party hat, ran to the front room and flung it open. He had a wild look in his eyes. Hi, said Jeff, holding Colleen's present under his arm. You ready? He was wearing old, comfortable clothes. His blue jeans had a small hole above the knee. It's wrapped, Bradley exclaimed, with a bow. What? Uttered Jeff. Bradley ran back to his parents' bedroom. It's got to be wrapped, he told his mother, with a bow. She cut off a piece of tape and smiled at her son. I'm wrapping it now. Okay, good. He returned to the front door. My mother's wrapping it now, he told Jeff. He had been running around the house that way all morning as he desperately tried to get ready for the birthday party. He'd already changed his clothes 6 times. He didn't know what he was supposed to wear. He didn't know what he was supposed to do. He didn't know what he didn't know. Claudia had given him the party hat to wear. She told him he wasn't allowed to take it off. They wrapped my present at the store where I got it, Jeff said. Bradley hardly heard him. Are you supposed to wear torn pants? He asked. What? He ran into the kitchen. He took a sharp knife from the drawer next to the sink and cut a hole in his pants just above the knee. When he returned to the front door, Jeff was standing inside the house. Claudia was with him. Is my hat on straight? Bradley asked his sister. She looked him over. It's hard to tell, she explained, because your head's crooked. Mrs. Chalkers came down the hall holding Colleen's present in front of her. See? All wrapped, she said. Hello, you must be Jeff. I'm Bradley's mother. Hello, Mrs. Chalkers, said Jeff. It doesn't have a bow, Bradley shouted. Oh, I couldn't find any ribbon, said his mother. He stared at her in disbelief. It needs a bow, he wailed. He turned to Jeff. Doesn't it need a bow? No. Oh, okay, he said happily. He took the present from his mother. She kissed him and told him to have fun. He and Jeff started out the door. Oh, Bradley, said his mother, you ripped your pants. I know. He closed the door. They headed up the sidewalk toward Colleen's. She lived 2 blocks away. Do you want my bow? Jeff asked. I can take it off. Bradley nervously shook his head. Are you all right? Jeff asked. Said Bradley. He had tried to say, I'm okay, but his mouth didn't work. You're acting kind of strange, said Jeff. Even for you, I mean. Bradley sighed and stopped walking. "What's the matter?" Jeff asked. Bradley trembled. He felt the same way as when he first tried to turn in his homework. "I don't even know what to do at a birthday party," he said, shivering. Jeff laughed. Bradley sat down on the curb. "I haven't been to one in 3 years." Jeff looked impatiently up the street, then sat down next to his best friend. "There's nothing to worry about," he said assuringly. "Birthday parties are fun." "How many birthday parties have you been to?" Bradley asked. Jeff shrugged. "A lot. What do you want to know?" "Everything." "Okay," said Jeff. "First take off that dumb hat." So, while the 8 girls anxiously waited, Jeff was patiently trying to teach Bradley everything he knew about birthday parties.